Hello everyone. So now we already know about what comics are. Okay. So let's study this one. And one more thing, you remember whenever you say a dialogue in a drama or in a comic, you know which character is saying that dialogue. So this is a very creative platform to learn dialogue delivery. Why? Because you can just adapt the persona of the person who is telling it. Suppose Birbal is telling it, he's a courtier. So there will be a deep voice and there will be a sense of authority when he talks. When a person like Ramchandra, who as the story progresses, you will see is a very kind-hearted man who helped his person and now he's cheated, he's troubled. So his voice will be different from and his way of speaking will be different from Birbal, right? And when the crooked Jwala Prasad who took the money and is not returning it, will he will speak in a different tone altogether. Okay, so this is a very good platform to practice dialogue delivery skills. Do that at home. Okay, now the story goes as Ramchandra comes to seek Birbal's help and tells him to resolve a dispute between him and Jwala Prasad. He had lent money to Jwala Prasad and now he was not ready to return it. So Birbal asked him, "What proof do you have that Jwala Prasad took money from you?" So he says, "Do you have no proof of what you are saying, Ramchandra?" "No, Huzur, no written receipt for the 1500 rupees that you say you lent your friend Jwala Prasad, and no witnesses for the transaction." Jwala Prasad is a fellow merchant as well as friend. He needed the money and promised to return it within 6 months. So I lent it to him. I thought he would honor his word, but he refuses even to remember what happened. You see the change between the pace of dialogues and the way it is spoken, right? So, um, Birbal asked, "So you don't have any receipt?" He said to Al Prasad that he was a fellow merchant and a friend, so it didn't occur to me that he will cheat me. I trusted him and he had said that I will return it in 6 months, but now he refuses to even acknowledge that he, Ramchandra, lent him the money. Okay, so what did Birbal do? He told him to write down the whatever he just told him, means the complaint, and to sign it. And I will see what I can do. Then he did not trust him immediately. No, he said, "I must send for Jwala Prasad, the second merchant, and let's see what he has to say." Then when Jwala Prasad arrived, as he's a cunning person, not an honest one, he will be buttering, obviously. "Raja Sahib, I am deeply honored and grateful for this summons. How may I be of service to your lordship?" See? Now, let's see how Bilbil goes to the root of the matter. Wrote him the letter that Ramchandra has given him. Okay, and what is the reaction of Jwala Prasad? "All lies, your lordship, all lies. I thought Ramchandra was my friend." So he is denying it altogether and he is telling that I have helped me so many times being a friend and now this is the way he is repaying me. So Birbal asked, "So you are denying that Ramchandra lent you 1500 rupees that you promised to return within 6 months?" And what does he say? "I absolutely deny it." And did he show you a receipt? Did I sign a receipt? It's a large sum. Back then, in the time of Akbar and Birbal, 1500 rupees was a huge amount. So he's telling it's a large sum. Do you think somebody will lend this big amount of money without me signing a receipt? So show me the receipt. Where is the receipt? Okay. So Birbal did not see anything. just told him what Ramprasad had told. Ramchandra has told him that there is no receipt. Okay, that is the problem. And he simply said, okay, thank you for coming, and I'm sorry for wasting your time. But he is a good judge of character, so he understood that something is fishy here. So what he did next, he told his employees to take 2 large jars of ghee and tell them to sell it for me. Means Birbal sent them ghee and asked them to sell it for him and return the money. And what he did, he said, tell them to check its purity. And how do you check ghee's purity? You heat it up. And then he dropped one muhar each in the jars. Okay. So when they heated it, the ghee becomes clear when you heat it, right? It becomes transparent. So they could see the muhar at the end of the jar, the bottom of the jar. So what was the reaction of Ramchandra? He immediately said that this must have fallen here by mistake. We must return it to Birbal. Now see, honest reaction from an honest person. Okay, and what was Jwala Prasad's reaction? A gold let me give this to my son. And he immediately went to his son who used to help him out in the shop to keep it safely. Okay, he gave his son the mohar and told him to keep it safely. Then after they sold the ghee, they both went back to Birbal. Ramchandra and Jwala Prasad both they went back to Birbal to return the money that they had earned by selling the ghee. Now, Ramchandra gave the money and returned the mohar. And when Jwala Prasad came, he did not return the mohar and he gave a smaller amount of money. So Birbal asked him, is that the best price you could get for 1.5 mounts of ghee? Now let's see what is the reply that Jwala Prasad gave. He said, no, your lordship, the jar only contained 1 mount. Now Birbal had sent equal amounts of ghee to both the merchants, 1.5 mount. What is a mount? An old way of measuring the quantity. Okay, so he simply lied and said he was a habitual liar and a dishonest person. So he just said, I waited before I heated the ghee. It was just 1 mount. My son was with me. Now, see, he's even dragging his son into this, that he was there just to prove that he's right. And he's foolish too. Why do I say that? You Everybody knew that Birbal was very intelligent and he was trying to cheat Birbal. Now you think an intelligent person will never do that. Okay, then my men may have made a mistake. Now Birbal is not letting him understand that I have done all this purposely and I know what you are up to. He simply said, okay, maybe the mistake is at my end, from my men's end. Let it be, I'll find out. Okay, then he goes and tells his servant to go to Jwala Prasad's house and fetch his son and to tell him to bring the mohar that his father gave him. Okay, now the son was innocent. So when the servant went there and told him to come and told him that your father is calling him and to bring the mohar, because Birbal understood. He said himself, Jwala Prasad said himself that my son was there with me when I heated the ghee. So Birbal assumed that he must have given the mohar to his son. And that was right. We all know that. And then when the son came, Jwala Prasad's sons came, Birbal told him, did you bring the gold mohar? Immediately, the son was very honest and He immediately said yes and gave the mohar to him. Then, when weren't there two mohars in the jar of ghee, Birbal is testing him. So he said, no, no, we just found one. Then Jwala Prasad got very angry because his lie was caught. So he said, what nonsense? What would a gold mohar be doing in a jar of ghee? So the son said, no, no, you remember when we heated it, we found it, and you gave it to me for safekeeping? Then Jwala Prasad felt that now I have been caught. Okay, so he's mainly more lies, he's creating a web of lies. Yes, yes, I remember I gave you a mohar, but it didn't come from out of any jar. One of my customers gave it to me. Okay, but people interrupted. Your son is telling the truth, Jwala Prasad. I put the gold mohar in the jar myself to see what would you do with it. Jwala Prasad began to sweat with fear. My Mehrbani must be playing tricks on me, Your Honor. Please forgive me. See how fast he is changing tracks. What happens next? We will find out in the next video. Hang on.